Welcome back. Now you've seen this scene before, but last time we looked at the sky and the reflection colours. I've had a request from a subscriber to do the other colours, so in this video we'll give you everything you'd need to get this down on canvas. You will, I'm sure, recognise this scene. Previously we've looked at the sky and reflection colours as I mentioned, but in response to a request from a subscriber, I'm going to have a look at the other colours. Now there's really only another 3 colours that you need to be able to paint this. So let's zoom in here and have a closer look. So what we've got going on here is really a distant shoreline. Very similar colours all the way across the horizon. We've got a foreground, which is the reflection of the sky, and we've got a middle ground, which is the island. If you look at the reflection of the trees in the water, it's a lovely smooth water, but what we can do to achieve that is simply paint the tree above and below the horizon line, and then use a brush very lightly, just brushing left and right to blend the trunks of the trees reflected in the water to give that blurred effect. So it's a really easy thing to paint, really very nice colors going on in this, but just to apply a tiny little bit of theory, you'll notice that the stuff that's far off in the distance is blue and the stuff that's in the foreground is a lot warmer in color, and that's an effect called recession. And it leads the eye, it tricks the eye, creates an illusion that the blue stuff is further away than those browns and oranges and reds in the foreground. So we need to mix a kind of a lilac blue grey for the horizon. We need to mix some cloud colour for the bottom left hand corner of the sky. And of course we need to mix the silhouette. So let's crack on and do that, and let's see if we can get you putting this one down on canvas. Okay, let's see, what have we got? Let's start off with a bit of alizarin crimson here. Don't need a massive lot, and a bit of white. It's quite a gently tinting colour, this one, but I'm still going to start off with the amount of white I need and then mix the alizarin crimson into it. Okay, that's too white, so we'll just mix a bit more crimson in. Just bring a bit into the side. A little bit more, I'll just have all of that. Okay, that's about the right kind of, let's say, value. It's not too light, not too dark, it's about right, but it's too pink. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a colour from the other side of the colour wheel, from red, which is green. Let's see, what have we got? Let's have a touch of Viridian's a nice green. Most people will have this in their box in some form. So I'll just put a tiny little bit of Viridian out. I'm just going to introduce that at the edge here. To bring us down a bit. So that's a natural grey. There's no shame in creating a shade of a colour and making it darker using black. So what I've got here is just a touch of ivory black, which has a very blue leaning. We can kind of bring that in just to tone it down. So we've made a pink, tamed the pink with the opposite colour, the green. Now I'm just bringing it down just a touch more with a bit of black. So we're not a million miles away there.
let's run with that. Could maybe do with a little bit more black in there, but see what it looks like when you've got that mixed up on your palette and adjust accordingly. So that's the first colour. The second colour is the Distant Foreshore. Now that is a very sort of dark blue. And we've got a number of options. We could just reach for a tube of something darker, like Prussian blue, or we could just mix them up. Again, just using the blues that are in the picture, and that is ultramarine. I'm just using a baby wipe actually. Very, very handy things for dealing with the oils and so on that you get when you're mixing on a palette knife. It's useful just to have a baby wipe to clean these things up. Anyway, I digress. I'm going to take some of this blue and I'm going to mix a bit of our alizarin crimson into that. A little bit more. I want to push this right down deep. And then we're going to naturally grey it, because I don't want this to be purple. I want this to be more blue leaning. I don't want to achieve that by piling a bunch more blue through it. So, on the opposite side of the colour wheel from our purples, we have once again yellow or yellow-green. Now at this point I could try mixing some of the yellow ochre through it, or we could reach for a tube of, say, bright green lake, something horrifyingly bright like that. You need the tiniest little smidge of this stuff. It's a weird colour, incredibly vicious. But again, we're looking for the other side of the colour wheel. So this one, tiniest little bit into there. I'll grey that down a bit. Now I am going to put a little bit more blue in here. Just to bring that up a touch. That's a very, very transparent colour. So as before, I'm going to use a bit of black here, both to make that more opaque and also to create a shade of that colour, and just take it down. So it's a very grey, I suppose you'd say indigo, which isn't a million miles off. Well, certainly what I'm seeing on the colour selector here. Okay, so there is the horizon colours taken care of. Now, the next bit is the silhouette. And silhouettes are a bit of a funny thing. Depending on what you want to do with your silhouette, you could use black. In this particular instance, though, you'll notice the reflection in the water appears very brown. So what we're going to do is we're going to use black and brown. So I'll put out just a little bit more ivory black here. Don't need a lot for this. I'll take some of that ivory black. I'm going to mix into that some burnt umber. Now, burnt umber is a very cool brown. So what's going to happen here, it's going to be a lovely dark colour, but it's going to be a lovely dark colour that, because of the effect of recession in the picture, is going to appear to be further forward than those blues. A little bit more through there. There you go. So by mixing the brown into that, what's going to happen it is that when it's thin and you very lightly brush sideways with the the reflections, you will get a natural brown colour in the reflections there in the water.
So there it is, the only other colours that you need to paint this entire scene. If that's been useful to you, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Of course, if you have any other colours that you'd be particularly interested in, if there's any other elements of videos I've already done, please leave a comment here or in those videos, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.